You're listening to the Fort Erie Podcast, your local source for upcoming events, hot new listings, and bite-sized interviews with business and community leaders. Here's your host, Brent Jones.
Good morning, Fort Erie. You're listening to the Fort Erie Podcast. This is Season 3, Episode 6. It is Tuesday, November 17th, 2020, and I'm your host, Brent Jones. So, let me begin today's episode by issuing just a brief apology. I know there were some audio issues on last week's new episode during my interview with Mike Daigle, but overall, I still think our conversation came out great. I hope you checked it out. I hope you enjoyed it. This week, my guest is going to be Rob Faragalli, member of the Ridgeway BIA board, as well as the man behind Ridgeway's BoHo Studio in downtown Ridgeway. But before my chat with Rob, let's take a look at what's making news in Fort Erie. So, first up, there's an article in Niagara this week regarding the town's rebuilt Diversity and Inclusivity Committee, which is looking to address issues facing some members of our community. The article quotes, and I'm sorry because I'm going to mispronounce his name, but John Mitchetti, the executive director of Matthew House Ministry for Refugees, John says he believes this committee is important for raising awareness of issues relating to discrimination based on race, sexual orientation, ability, and even financial status. So for more details on this story or anything I covered today, please be sure to check out the links in the show notes below this episode. Next, Fort Erie's waterfront plan, check this out, won the Niagara Biennial Design Award, not only for the top visionary design category, but also the best of the best grand prize winner among a total of 68 entries. Also, the town's development of Bay Beach was named winner for the landscape design category. So, hey, what can I say? I mean, there are a lot of good things happening in Fort Erie, and it's really nice to see some recognition for our town's efforts. All right, now on to my pick for hot new listing of the week. My real estate pick for this week is 50 Princess Street in Fort Erie, listed by Belinda Butler with Century 21 Today Realty. This property features 2 beds and 2 baths and has been totally redone top to bottom with high-end finishings. It features an attached garage and is listed for $459,900. So again, for more information on this listing, you can get in touch with me directly or click the link in the show notes below this episode. All right, now let's check in with the Fort Erie Questions and Answers Facebook group to see what's on your minds. Penny asks, is the Lions Club going to be selling Christmas trees this year? The top answer was yes, they are selling Christmas trees at the Crystal Ridge Community Center. Lynn says, I'm looking for a good real estate lawyer for a house closing. Well, the top choice based in Fort Erie, according to the comments, including a comment of my very own, would be Ashley Gibson. And now it's time for my interview with Rob Faragalli. All right, folks, I am at BoHo Studio, downtown Ridgeway, with none other than Rob Faragalli. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Hey, Brent. Thank you very much for having me.
I pronounced your name correctly?
You did. You nailed it.
I was so nervous, man. I was so nervous I was going to get it wrong. Well, let me start by asking you the same question I ask all of my guests, which is what makes Fort Erie, and specifically Ridgeway, because that's where we are, such a great place to live and work?
Well, I find through all my work experience that the closer you get to Lake Erie, the chiller the people are.
Sure.
And so, throughout my work works, I've always been working in, as a field service tech. Anywhere along the lake has always been the place to be. So right. When I had the opportunity to move to Ridgeway, I knew I wanted to do that. So there was no second thoughts about it. So
sure,
I moved here. The people that live around here are so friendly and so welcoming, and it's just a place I love to be.
It's a great place to be.
It's like everyone's like family.
Okay, very cool. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the BoHo Studio, because that's, of course, where we're sitting right now. And for anybody listening who maybe hasn't been inside here before, this place is wonderful. I mean, what goes on here? What kind of programs do you have happening here at the studio?
Well, we, prior to the recent pandemic and everything that went along with that, we hosted, myself and my partner, Debra Mallen, we hosted a lot of paint parties, and many people from town have visited this place and painted pictures under Deb's instruction. And so that's primarily what the studio was used for. It's been kind of quiet recently with Deb's passing, and then along with the COVID, it kind of really, put the kibosh on some stuff that we had planned prior to the COVID. But I'm hoping once things, once we get through this pandemic and things return to an environment where we can host big groups, then we're going to return to hosting events here at the studio.
Yeah, that would be great. Because I've seen lots of photos online. They used to have regular Friday night jam nights, and I see you got kind of the setup over there. How did that start happening?
The jam nights were just kind of came out of the blue. My dad has always been a big guitar player, and I always played since I was young. And then my friend Walter at work, he also wanted to jam, and either way, there was 4 of us that it started out with, and we just thought, we had the space. We had acquired the space. I think we started jamming maybe even before the studio officially opened, but we just thought, we have this awesome space where we can all get together and play our guitars and make some noise, and so it just grew from that. And several people have jammed with us over the years, and we're still doing the jam nights on Friday. We just haven't, been very public about it.
Sure.
A few people have popped in here and there, but for the most part, it's just been, just us guys. But we still do our thing on Friday night because we just can't stop. It's too much fun. And
that's cool.
So
have you always considered yourself a creative person? Like, what are some of your other creative passions or pursuits?
Yeah, I would say so. I've always enjoyed art. I've always enjoyed art, and I've always enjoyed music a lot. My next biggest, my biggest passion of all, I think, would be fishing, which is another reason why I ended up down here next to Lake Erie. It's because of my love of fishing, and the fishing's so awesome down here.
Yeah.
So, I guess fishing would be my thing, right?
Guitar and fishing.
That's music
cool.
and fishing. Painting some pictures. That's pretty much what it's about for me.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's do this. I want to do a rapid fire question round with you. And this
Okay.
is something fun I like to do with guests.
do it.
Kind of put you in the hot seat, ask
do
you
it.
some fun questions about yourself. You just rattle off the first thing that pops in your head. All right? All right, let's do this. Are you more productive at night or in the morning?
Morning.
Morning. Okay. What scene in a movie always gives you goosebumps every time you watch it?
Oh, jeepers. I'm not really a movie watcher. Probably something from Jaws,
Yeah? Okay. All right. What topic could you give a 20-minute presentation on without having to prepare at all?
Oh, fishing for sure.
Fishing. All right. Okay. What is the most interesting person? Who is the most interesting person you've ever met and actually talked to?
The person that's had the biggest impression on me in my life has been Deb. Deb Mallen's been made the biggest impression on me. So, that was the first person that came to mind.
That's an honest answer, and I appreciate that. What's the biggest vehicle you've ever driven?
Oh, I drove an 18-wheeler before.
You did?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite food?
It would be either Mexican, spicy food, Mexican or Thai.
Very cool.
Those are,
All right. Okay. If you could ever try space tourism, would you do it?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. That'd be an awesome ride.
Okay. All right. That's the rapid fire round. You survived.
That's fun. Hey, there you go.
You did okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about Ridgeway specifically.
Okay.
Being the chair of the Ridgeway BIA. For starters, how did you get involved with the BIA? And for those who may not be familiar, what is the Ridgeway BIA? What do they do?
The Ridgeway BIA is the Business Improvement Association, which basically we manage the tax levy that is collected from the businesses within the business area. Deb and I were both eager to become part of the community, and it just grew from there.
Right place, right time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Deb to sort of conclude things. Would you be able to share maybe a couple thoughts on the impact that she had on this town, on this community, the legacy really that she left here in this area?
Yeah, we just opened in 2016, so we don't have a long history in the town. Like a lot of people, this town's got lots of business people with a long history. Our history is very short, and we came to town with, we both had this kind of a dream of what the studio would be and what it could be for both of us. The bottom line is the town just really embraced us, and we really tried to give back as much as we could. And Debra just is such a charismatic person with such a zest for life and such an inspiration to so many people, like myself, probably more than anyone, or at least as much as anyone. She's just such a person of inspiration, and And people just, once you spend some time where they're painting a picture, you just want to come back and do it again because it's so much fun. It just led to something really, really special. And I think that's kind of the memory that's left behind, right? It's just this ability to create a special place where everyone could really feel like, a special
like they were
part
home.
of it.
Like it was part of the community.
And then we always felt at home too, no matter where we went, whether we were at Gary's bar or whether we were at the 335, we like to sit at the bar. Deb and I always like to sit at the bar when we could. We like to sit at the bar, and that way we could chit chat with the different people coming in and out. And it was just we spent time sitting at lots of the bars around town, having a drink here and there, and it was just always such fantastic camaraderie, and it's just a beautiful place to be. Which is why, even after Deb's passing, I really wanted to continue. I know Deb really wanted me to continue with the studio. It's still a special place that I want to be a part of. So I'm not ready to let go. You can tell I haven't really changed much. Right. So yeah, I'm not quite ready to let go of any of that.
Well, you know what, Rob? I really appreciate you sharing those insights. And thank you so much for spending some time with me today,
My pleasure, Brent. It's really great having you. And it's really great to finally have you over. And, we're going to jam soon.
You bet. Yeah. I can't wait.
Right on.
Welcome back, everybody. Here to provide you this week with an update on the Fort Erie real estate market is my friend and colleague at RE/MAX Niagara, Ray Rosatani.
Back in March, Fort Erie did about $15 million in volume in real estate transactions. And over the next couple of months, there was a bit of a climb. In July, 28 million, 29 million. And September, we hit an all-time high of $40 million over the span of a year. Our average sale price has pretty much gone up $100,000. But as we approach, phase two or the second wave, I guess, of COVID and with new shutdowns, again, September, we sold $40 million worth of real estate. And already in October, 1 month later, we're at half of that. We're at 20 million. As we approach December, a lot of people tend to take their homes off the market or don't want to move in the winter months and that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how things continue to move forward.
So let's conclude today's episode with a look at some upcoming community events. And I want to put kind of a disclaimer on this because there's only 2 community events I'm going to highlight because I scoured the Niagara This Week community events calendar. I scoured the event section on Facebook. I scoured the town's community calendar. And even though I know Fort Erie that we have community events coming up, happening in the next week, I don't know if we're doing a great job right now of making them visible. Now, look, some of that might be due to COVID restrictions and so forth. But if you or someone you are connected to has a community event coming up, be sure to let me know about it. I'm happy to talk about your community event on this show. You can visit theforteriepodcast.com and click the contact button at the top of the page. But anyway, let's get right into it. Here are the 2 community events I want to highlight. So this Wednesday, November 18th, kicking off at 5 p.m. is the Glow Gardens Drive-Through Christmas Light Experience at Safari Niagara in Stevensville. This is like a 3-kilometer drive-through Christmas light journey, and you pay just 1 flat fee per vehicle to drive through. And then coming up Friday, November 20th at 7 p.m. is the Ultimate Band Series rehearsal at Sessions on the River. Just based on a quick read here of the description, it looks like it's almost like a battle of the bands, but it's more like a battle of the band members to create the ultimate band. And I think that's a very, very cool idea. Be sure to check out details on that in the show notes. Well, I think that'll just about do it for this week's new episode. Join me, Fort Erie, next Tuesday for a chat with Julie Brady, owner and operator of Regional Limousine on Jarvis Street. So long for now, everybody. Take care.
You've been listening to the Fort Erie Podcast with your host, Brent Jones, a sales representative with RE/MAX Niagara Realty Limited Brokerage. Follow @BuyWithBrent on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for updates. Subscribe to the Fort Erie Podcast on popular platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and catch a new bite-sized episode every week. Until next time.